Has any one of you watched the old Beyblade? This is the classic one. The very first one that they released. Like, I forgot how long it was, but yeah. Okay, I need to stop watching now. Hey guys, what's up? It's Mark again here and welcome back to my channel. On this channel we do a lot of filmmaking tutorials, YouTube gear related videos, reviews, and vlogs here and there. So if you are interested, please do consider subscribing. So today we are going to be reviewing a product that was sent to us by YConion. This is called the Chocolate SE. So what is the Chocolate SE, you may ask? So the Chocolate SE is a slider. A slider is a type of camera gear wherein you put a camera on top and you can use it to push the camera forward or backward or from left to right, which will generate movement inside your videos. So in this case, this is an electronic slider, which means you don't really need to do much of the work. All you need to do is set A and B points, and then the camera will be moving for you infinitely for as long as you have battery. You can use sliders for many things, like for example, if you like to shoot time lapses, this will allow you to shoot time lapses, but to incorporate movement into them. So imagine if you're shooting a sunset, and instead of having the camera just stay still, the camera will slowly move from left to right, therefore giving you the sensation of the time lapse, but at the same time adding a little bit of flavor by adding movement. And one more thing you can use a slider for is, for example, if you are shooting an interview, let's pretend your A camera is just on a locked off shot on a tripod, and your B camera can be a moving shot. So you can just basically leave this by itself and it will take the B shots for you, which are moving shots. So yeah, so without further ado, let's go ahead and unbox the Chocolate SE by YConion. So I like the box because it is very sleek, just matte black. It's just an amazing box. So let's go ahead and open it. Ooh, so right off the bat, we can see that they have given us a carrying case. I like carrying cases because you can use it to carry your stuff with it. So it's nice that they gave us one of these. The next thing that we are greeted with is a USB to DC cable, which is good because we can use this to power the slider without using a battery. So you can just basically use either a wall outlet or simply a power bank. The next thing that we get is a manual, both with English, Japanese, and Chinese, I think. And we get a battery, which is interesting. It is nice of them to send a battery for me to use to test this thing out with. So this is a Sony NPF style battery. This is a 2600 milliamp battery. And YConion was nice enough to even include a charger for the NPF battery, which is so good. And the main reason why we're here is the slider itself. It's just very professional looking. If you arrive on set for a professional shoot with something like this, your production value automatically goes up. So it is a very good looking slider and very compact at that. So to power this thing on, it's very simple. All you need to do is first think of which power method would you prefer, either to use a DC cable, which is this one, which will plug into this side. So if you have a DC cable like this, just plug it into this side. And this one goes into your power bank. But for this explanation that we are going to be doing, we are going to be using the included NPF battery. So we're going to pop it onto this side. So watch where the rods go, these two. Just slide into this side. As you can see, there's a small hatch over here, which you can use to just pop up battery if you don't want it to be inside. Just drops off like that, and it's very secure. So if you want to put it back in, just push it, you'll hear a clicking sound. And it's secure. So another way of powering this thing would be through using a power bank and the included DC cable. So all you need to do is just plug this thing into the power bank and plug this end onto the slider. Now you can power this thing on, and now it is working. So let me quickly show you how to use the Chocolate SE slider with a tripod. So if you got a tripod like this, most of the time the ball head should be removable. So if you unscrew the ball head, you are left with a 3/8 mount over here, which matches the 3/8 hole on the YConion Chocolate SE slider as well. So first you simply need to install it, just screw it in, make sure you don't drop it. So the next thing you do is take the ball head that you removed, just screw it on to the slider. And the next thing is that you choose your subject. Let's pretend that this box, the Chocolate SE box, is the subject. So first we put it in frame. It's up to you how you frame it. So I'm just going to imagine that this is already framed. So the first thing is I want to do a push-in shot. So what I will do is angle or face the slider towards that direction, because I know that I will be pushing in that way. So next step is to get our camera. You can use whatever camera you have, but I suggest getting a camera that has good autofocus, because as it is pushing in, you don't want the focus to just disappear into nothing. So we mount the camera. Okay, so after you frame your shot, the next thing to do is to switch on the power button, and then it will be like that. So find your A point first. So I want this to be my A point. I press this, press B until I find my B point, then press this again, and then press this again. And then we'll go all the way to your A point to make sure that the A point is clear, not obstructed. And then press B. And then now hold press the function button. And now press A. And you can just roll it. I'm gonna hit record now. So you can see what the slider is capable of. So right now it's doing all the pushing in for me. I don't need to do anything. All I need now is to just watch, make sure the camera doesn't fall. So let's pretend we want to do a sliding motion. A sliding motion is not moving forward and backward. This is called a dolly in, dolly out. Now we're going to do a sliding motion from left to right. So the thing we need to do is, of course, place the slider diagonally, and we move the camera facing that way. So as you can see, it's doing the basic slider motion from left to right, and it can keep on going for as long as you have battery. So let's just complete the whole thing, and yeah, we'll continue from there. So the good thing about this is that if you do have interviews, you can have a tight shot. Let's pretend that I have an A6400, and yeah, I do have an A6400, but let's pretend that I have a tight lens. Let's pretend I have a 50mm. That's about 80mm on the crop sensor. So imagine you have this tight on somebody's face, and it can just keep on doing your second angle without you doing anything, and you can just focus on your main angle. And one more good thing about this is, of course, you can use it for B-roll shots. You can be creative. I can even examine the product as I am sliding. So this can basically show the product while you are holding the product, so it can be moving. So other people will think that you have a crew with you, but actually you're by yourself. So yeah, that's just a few ideas that you can use to do with the Chocolate SE. So yeah, let's continue with the video. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to stress test the YC Chocolate SE slider. I'm not sure if it's true to what it says that it can handle 20 kgs. The manual says that it can handle 20 kgs of weight if you put it on a horizontal platform, but we are going to do an experiment. So far so good. It's actually handling the setup pretty nicely. This is not a very light setup. This is the Sigma 18-35, which is about 800 grams, I think, or 700 grams. And the A6400 with the cage is not so light either, with the wooden handle. So just to see that this is handling this with no problem, it's a big thumbs up. YC is really true to what it claims, that it can handle a very heavy payload. But I wouldn't suggest you putting a full cinema rig on this. Maybe just something like a mirrorless, or at most maybe a camera with a 24-70. Like a full frame with a 24-70 would be max, I guess. But I would love to see somebody try a 70-200 with this. That would be insane. How about we do that right now? So I have a 70-200 over here. This is gonna be an insane test. 70-200 Tamron. It's doing it. Come on. Oh, look at that. It's handling it with no problem. 70-200. A6400 with a cage, no problem. Okay, YC Onion, you win. I trust you now. Now I know that if this can handle a vertical payload with this much weight, no problem with horizontal, right? So I guess even a full frame with a 24-70, or maybe even a 70-200 horizontal will have no problem. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the good and the bad with this Chocolate SE slider from YC Onion. So the good thing is, this is a very small slider. It's a very lightweight slider, only weighing at 900 grams. And the total length is about 10.5 inches, which is good because it keeps the slider small, but at the same time it can be a disadvantage because this is a very small kind of slider. Most sliders that you can see, which are the old style sliders, they tend to be about at least 2 times the length of this, at least, which means an entry-level slider would be about 20 inches. But don't get me wrong, this slider can still get the job done. I'm just pointing out that if you are used to using those long sliders, this might not be for you. But if you are a YouTuber like me who just has a small studio and likes to take B-roll shots, this is going to be awesome for you. And one more thing that I'd like to point out with this thing is that this has a motor inside, which means that it will generate noise. So if you are doing an interview and you have a microphone on top of your camera and the camera is on top of the slider, you are going to be picking up the noise that's coming out from this. But don't let that be the deal breaker for you. There's a lot of fixes or workarounds around it. So you can just get a lavalier microphone or a wireless lavalier microphone, which makes your microphone very far away from the camera, therefore you're not going to pick up the audio. Problem solved. And one of the things that I like about this is that it has 2 ways of powering it. You can power it with the DC cable, the included DC cable. You can plug it in here, or you can use the NPF battery. That is actually great because let's pretend that this runs out of battery. As long as you have the cable inside your backpack and you have a power bank, you will have infinite power. So this 2600 milliamp NPF battery, I tested out. I got about 2.8 hours of battery life, which is insane, right? But if you use a power bank, you can get up to 15 hours. And I don't think this thing overheats. It's not a very high capacity motor, which means it will not really overheat. So you don't have to worry about any overheating issues. So as you may have seen in the video, I've been mainly using it with just the interface or just the slider itself, but actually you can download the app off of the YConion website and you can use your smartphone to make it easier to control this. You can just use your smartphone to sync up with this and you can set your point A and point B and access other features of the YConion using the app. But for me, I prefer to use just the interface because I don't really want to use my smartphone while I'm on set, or yeah, it just adds one more problem to the scenario. So I prefer to just using it plainly with the interface. So let's slowly wrap up the video by talking about who this slider is for. So this slider is mainly made for YouTubers. You can already see that if you have one of these, you can create B-roll shots that otherwise you wouldn't be able to without this, because normally you would have to use a slider manually. You would have to use your own hands to move it from point A to point B. But with this, you just set a point A and a point B and press play and it just loops. And you can play around with whatever product you are showcasing. Yeah, this thing makes everything a lot easier. If you love to do time lapses, this would be an awesome option because you just set your exposure on your camera, you set the timer or whatever, how you're setting it up, and you can put this on the slowest sliding speed. I forgot to mention that this has different levels of sliding speeds. There's low, medium, and fast. You put this on the lowest speed and you can leave your camera there and let it do everything by itself. But of course, do not leave it by itself because somebody might steal it, but you get my point. This slider just makes things a lot easier. Things that you could not do before, you'll be able to do with this slider. It takes your filmmaking to the next level. So that's it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this little review video about the Chocolate SE. Thank you, YConion, for sending this product to me. So if you found value in this video, I would appreciate it if you hit the like button, you subscribe, and of course, if you'd leave a comment and ask questions about the YConion chocolate slider, I would love to read those and I would love to answer your comments. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.